Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We are learning Maseches Kiddushin, Daf Chavches Amud Aleph. Shiur's Leilu Nishmas, my father, Menachem ben Akiva, for the refuah of Ina Chai Bas Geula Rochel, Chana Bat Sima, Besoch Shachol Yisrael, and also the Ilu Nishmas, and Yaresha Bas, and Chona Nitzchok. And let's go. We are learning Daf Chavches Amud Aleph, and the topic is Gilgul Shvua. What is Gilgul Shvua? Gilgul Shvua means, as we learned before, and we're going to elaborate today, Gilgul Shvua to legalgel. What does legalgel mean? Or galgal? Galgal means to roll. Roll over. Galgal is the wheel. So let's say a person comes to Din. He is coming to Din in order to sue his friend. He's a plaintiff. He has a claim against his friend. So now, the first claim that he has is a claim that, unfortunately, he cannot cause the other person to be nishba. He cannot make him swear. Yeah. For example, we brought an example in the Mishna. Let's say I have a claim about land, a piece of land. Yeah. You can't say, I know that you are living in my land, you stole my land, whatever that means, because on lands there's no shvua. That's what the Torah decided. Let's say, and I mean what I say now because it was a question last week. Let's say 3 months later, yeah, there is another taina about money, about metaltalin, where shvua could apply. That's a moed b'miktzas. He admits to 1,000 out of 2,000. Because it can be mashbia the person now on the current claim, it can also be megalgel, the plaintiff, the tovea can be megalgel and cause him to swear on another issue, another item that otherwise would not deserve shvua, but because now we do him in, now there is shvua on one topic, on one issue where shvua is applicable. Then it can be megalgel. You can chain reaction. You can drag on another shvua, which otherwise would not be able. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to be mashbi'im, and it can be mashbi'a two together, two for the price of one. The question asked by Parrots last week, was how far do we go? Let's say the person came to Beis Din with one claim only, right? He's now coming to claim about the money, and he says, "You stole from me $2,000," and the other person says, "No, only 1,000. I stole. I'm a nice guy. I only stole 1,000, then midoraisa, of course, moed b'miktzas, yeah, you can be mashbi'im. Now, let's say all of a sudden he chaps and says, wait, yeah, you nishba on this? I now remember that 5 years ago we had a completely different claim over a piece of land. Well, you cannot be nishba. I want to be mashbi'a you now. It's strongly mashma from Shulchan Aruch. It's not written black and white, but it's very, very mashma Shulchan Aruch. Yes, Gilgul Shvua can work very far apart. Yeah, it's mashma that unless he decided already to pay, let's say the person said, no, I'm not nishba, I'm paying, then you can't be megalgal anymore. The Gilgul window of opportunity is closed. But as long as in the shvua mode is about to be nishba, yeah, he can be mashbi'im on another irrelevant topic, although otherwise he wouldn't be able to be mashbi'im. How do we know that Gilgul Shvua works? All this is an introduction plus a very, very important piece from the one and only Ritva. And that is, first start with the Gemara. We're not yet inside the Gemara. This is all an introduction. How do you know the Gilgul Shvua applies? It sounds like a nice idea, but how do you know? From Soita. Either Soita or Sota. Depends where you come from. If you come from Minnesota, yeah, so then a Soita, yeah, you can be Megalgel, a Shvua, right? In other words, she's married, and the Kohen tells her, were you Mezana, were you a naughty girl from this man while you're married? Yeah. And she says omein, meaning no, and also omein on another claim the husband has about her from before. It's from the erusin, when you're me'oreses, before we lived together, but you're an eshes ish, I already had my suspicions then. And me'oroso you cannot be taken as soito. Now that I can do you in, now that you're in Beis Hamikdash, because of your married, fully married status of a nesua, I can be megalgel, I can roll and wake up the dead from the past, and be mashbi'a you also on what? The time when you're me'orosa and had another suspicion with another guy, with another issue of erusin, although then it wasn't possible to be mashbi'a you. Now I'm rolling over, yeah, I'm rolling that on top of the other, and now she's nishba on both, yeah? And from Soita we learned the kal v'chomer. This is all important to remember. As Soita we learned from the kal v'chomer to other issues such as regular moment. Why? A soita, aid echod, doesn't do anything in soita. Aid echod, let's say only one aid. How does the soita become a soita? What's the process? This is all good chazorah. You need 2 stages before she becomes a soita, and you have to be very particular about that. Not any crazy jealous husband can take his wife to Beis Hamikdash to this rather humiliating process. There has to be a long story before that. What is that the procedure? It was kinui. He told her, "Listen, girl, listen to your wife. I don't like the fact that you're too friendly with your co-worker in the bank, and therefore I do not allow you to be nistar b'misyached with him. It's anyhow also to be misyached, but if the husband said that it's kinui, he's mekane, he's jealous. Secondly, what do we say? Secondly, she disobeyed, and she was two edim so that she did close herself in a room in a clear yichud situation with that other guy, and then we say she's a soiton. Then it's both sofik and a vadai. In other words, we don't know she was mezaneh. Otherwise, we wouldn't try and test in Beis Hamikdash. But it's highly assumed that she was, unless known otherwise. We're machzik that the worst has happened, and they can't be together. The husband and her cannot be together anymore. And unless she goes to Beis Hamikdash, she's also she goes to Beis Hamikdash. If she manages to clear her name, great. She'll become even more blessed than before. So now, by Soita, as we said, 1/8 doesn't work. If one person saw them closing themselves in the back office in the bank alone, all alone there, she and he, very suspicious. One person, kosher aid, doesn't do anything. You can't let her drink in Beis Hamikdash. You don't take her to Beis Hamikdash. The only time is if you have two aidim. So if Soita, which is weaker in the sense that 1/8 doesn't do anything, and yet kinui, and yet gilgul works, so much so, kal v'chomer, that a Soita, that by dine mominus, I'm asking you a question now. In dine mominus, I come to Beis Din with 1/8 only. I claim that you owe me $1 million. Yeah, you owe me $1 million. Yeah, it's okay. And then what? And then I come with 1/8. He's happy. Well, fine, good. And then I come with 1/8. Does that do anything, or 1/8 is nothing? Don't nod your head. Tell me yes or no. What? Shavua, and the winner is very good. Yeah, it does Shavua. Excellent, excellent. I'm closing this. Yeah, okay. Shavua, Givaldi. Sorry for that. Yeah, Shavua, Shavua, Shavua. Oh, so if you tell me that 1/8 by Soita, 1/8 is nothing, and yet Gilgul works, all the more so. But in money matters, when 1/8 does the job for Mechayev Shavua, Kol Sheken Gilgul Shavua works. Ad Kan, that was what we saw on Thursday. Now we have two ways to learn. Let's restart from Kaf Ches Amud Aleph, the third line from the top of the page. Yeah. Ashkechan bevadai sofek minolan. The Gemara asks the following question. Ashkechan bevadai sofek minolan. We found that this is true regarding vadai, regarding a for sure claim. Sofek minolan. How do you know that it also applies in the case of sofek? Now, Rasha and Tosfos have one way. I'm going to tell you what the Ritva says. The Ritva, yeah, surprisingly, I'm with the Ritva, believe it or not. But also, interestingly enough, I saw, no, don't mind. One of the Noise Kelim Shulchan Aruch says that in this sugya, the Ritva is the winner. And Halacha is like the Ritva. It's very rare that Ritva is mentioned, Halacha, Lamais, and Shulchan Aruch. Here, the Ritva is, yeah, I saw it. One of the Noise Kelim. Yeah, on our team. So now, says the Ritva as follows. Ashkechan bavada sofik melon means as follows. Listen to this. The case of Soito, yeah, the case of Soito, everything is one big doubt. Even what you do know, you don't know 100% that she really did something naughty with the banker inside, right? Yeah, her and her friend. Yeah, we don't know. Very likely, not 100%. Otherwise, why be mashke her? So you have one sofik, and you megalgel. I'm not going to translate megalgel again and again. I'll just show with my hand. Yeah, megalgel. Another case of sofik, you don't know what happened now. You don't know what happened before, right? Okay, very good. What would be vadai and vadai? Let's say a person has a claim in Beis Din. I'm coming with vadai. I know 1,000,000% that you stole from me $2,000, right? And now I want to be mechayiv you on another vadai claim on my house. A house I can't be mashbiah you. Same thing. Says the Ritva, it's all the same tachsisim. That's his lotion. All the same style. Sofik, vadai, all the same. However, how do you know? Listen to this. Let's say the claim I have against you now is a claim which is vadai. Excuse me, mister. I know now that you owe me $2,000, and you say 1,000. Classical what? Classical case of course, moed b'miktzas chayav shvua. And then I say, listen. Hey, wait, hold it. I want to be megalgel. I want to be megalgel a claim which is sofik. I think, I'm not sure, maybe I think that, 5 years ago, you stole a piece of land from me. right? We have farms one next to the other in the Golan, and I think that you stole, I'm not sure, I have a feeling, a Shema, it may be, oh, how do you know Gilgul works then? Why? That's a disadvantage. First of all, you're not Nishbal Karkois, and your claim is a Shema, right? A claim which is a maybe is a weaker claim. That's the Gemara's question, says the Ritva. From Soita, you can't learn that, because Soita, it's all the same. The current Shavua and the Shavua you're coming to be Megalgel, the one you want to wake up from the dead, yeah, that one, they're both Sophic. So I can say both are Vadai is the same. Kol Sheken, Sophic, and Vadai. But if the current Shavua is a Vadai and want to roll on you something which is a Sophic, how do you know that's true? That's the question of the Gemara, according to the Ritva. Answers the Gemara, Tanya, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai Yomer, Ne'emar Shavua b'chutz v'ne'emar Shavua b'fnim. Let me say to you now, very clear, the words of the Ritva. It's a Gzera Shava. Besides the Kal V'chomer, which we have a Gzera Shava. The word Shavua is mentioned, where's B'chutz? In BSD. BSD, when it comes to Dinim Ominous, it's a regular BSD. Dinim Ominous are judged today too. In B'Chemesh, right here, in Achaluz, a few meters away. They have a BSD, B'chutz, outside Beis HaMikdash. The halachas of Shavua, of money, are written in the Torah, and the word Shavua is written. B'nei Shavua b'fnim. Where else is the word Shavua written? Shavua. Inside where? Inside Beis HaMikdash, Soito. And we make a clear Gzera Shava. Ma Shavua hamura b'fnim, just like Shavua written regarding the pnim, the inside of Beis HaMikdash, i.e. Soito, also Basofik Kevadai. Their Sofik and Vadai are the same. We're going to explain that soon. Av Shavua amura b'chutz, also Basofik Kevadai. So too Shavua that's written outside the regular Shavua over money, all Shavuos except for Soita are what? About money. So too when it comes to Shavua, regular Shavua over money, also Sofik and Vadai are the same. The question which I had, and now I'm going to get the answer, is what do you mean? How do you know? That's not true. The Taina was that by Soita, you only know what? You only know a case of Sofik and Sofik, Vadai and Vadai. We didn't see in Soita a case of a Vadai now bringing from the dead and now one of Sofik. Answers the Ritva beautifully. He says, did you notice the mechanism here? We have a Kal V'chomer and we have a Gzera Shava. Why do you need two? Usually, in order to learn something in the Torah, did you say that you Gimel Midis this morning? Yeah? Kal V'chomer, Gzera Shava, all that. You don't need both Kal V'chomer and Gzera Shava for one thing. Voila, says the Ritva. That's the point. We need the extra limud of Gzera Shava to tell me the case. It's not written. It's called the Imeino Inyan. We spoke about it a few times, like a spillover. In other words, the case of the Torah is really when it's Vadai, Sofik, all the same level. The current Shavua and the one you want to bring. The Torah is giving me another source to teach me, you know what? You know why I'm telling you the same thing twice? Once in Kal V'chomer and one through Gzera Shava, to tell you that even the weakest case, even the weakest combination of the four, meaning a current Vadai Shavua, rolling from the past, from 5 years ago, a Sofek, even that the Torah wants to tell us through an extra Gzera Shava on top of Kal V'chomer. Get that? That's a Ritva. That's a genius way to get this Gemara. Everything is so glad now. Weiter. The Gemara is now asking a question. Ad hechen Gilgul Shvua. That's a question. How far does Gilgul Shvua go? Meaning, what's the maximum? How far does Gilgul Shvua go? I thought that was the Pertz's question, but it's not. In other words, yeah, how far? Your question is good, and I dealt with it, right? But now I have another. The Gemara is a question. How far do you take Gilgul Shvua? Meaning, the question is, that we know that some things you can be nishba, and other things you cannot be nishba, right? But you still get Gilgul Shvua, even in case of Sofik. We're going to look now for a very far-fetched case where it's definitely a Sofik, definitely not Chayiv Shvua, in a very extreme case, and still, although this as of itself is not Mechayiv Shvua, Gilgul Shvua does bring it to life and causes you to do Shvua. We'll see the case now. It's chaval to waste time on the question because the answer will explain everything. Omar Rav Yehuda Omar Rav, listen to this very extreme case. The Omar Lei, a person came to his friend in the middle of the street or even in BSD, and he said, Ishavali she'en avdi ato. I want you to swear to me that you're not me'eved knaini. In other words, it comes to a Jew, which is muchzak to be a regular Jew. Yeah, puts on tefillin every day. Do avodim knaini put on tefillin? Refresh my memory. You don't know? What? If they feel like? No, they don't. Eved Knani Chai b'mitzvahs kisha. Do normal women put on tefillin? No, unless they're not normal. Normal women, yeah, do not put tefillin. Don't tell me the daughter show the different stories. I'm saying normal women 2023, still 23, yeah, they don't put on tefillin. And so do Eved Knani, doesn't put on tefillin, no tzitzis. Can he marry a regular Jewess? Eved Knani? Yes, no, maybe so. No, he's not allowed to. She's not allowed to. Yeah. So now he comes to his friend, who's supposed to be a nice computer programmer or Avrech Koilel, who comes to shul every day, and he claims, "Swear to me, you're not Me'eved Knani," with no other claims. In other words, it's not that he has two eidim that you're a runaway slave. That would be different. He only wants to use shvua, right? And we want to say, if I have another claim against him that you owe me money, let's say, and you moide b'miktzas, I can roll that crazy shvua of what crazy claim. I want you to be nishba to me and not me'eved knayni, with no further background. Says the Gemara, what? You really would support such a case and say he should be nishba, that he's not his eved knayni? Ahu, that shamuti mishamtinan lei. We should excommunicate him. We should put him in nidui. Yeah, a person who calls his friend a slave, again, unless he has edim and he has a clear claim. But if you stand go in the middle of Beis Din and you say, swear to me not me'eved knayni, you're claiming someone who has good normal reputation as a yit is now an eved knayni. You who claim that should be beshamta, and actually mamish Beis Din puts him benidui. Beis Din puts him benidui. People can do business with him. People shouldn't sit in his daladamis. He doesn't get the liyah l'torah. He's being excommunicated. Tanya, as it says in the Brisa, a person who calls his friend Eved because he's so he's degrading him so much to call him an Eved, then he'll be benidui. Yeah, says Rashi, it's mida keneged mida. You're mezalzel, you degraded, you're talking to him in such a disgraceful way with no claims, no proofs. Yeah, you stand come and say that someone is an Eved, then you too should be like an Eved, excommunicated. You should have like lower status as a menuda mida keneged mida. Continues the Brisa, Mamzer soifigis arboim. And when a person with no clear claim comes in the middle of the street or Beis Din with no real proof and comes and calls his friend Mamzer, he says, I know you're a Mamzer bastard, excuse my language, yeah? So he comes and says this to his friend. The friend has good reputation, and the Rishonim say, you know that a lot of people in this world are married? You know, Jewish people would tend to get married. The guy's a Mamzer, married with children. You know what you're doing to his reputation. You claim that his kids are mamzerim, his parents are over avera, and you claim that his marriage should fall apart. That's a very, very bad thing to do. So what do you do to him? Beis Din takes him, and if there are edim, if you know that happened, and a lashing, boom, 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 39 times, they give him a little bit of a patch, a rather hurtful patch, two on the back, one in the stomach, v'chulei. Why is it Sofigis Arboim? Very nice. Says the Ritzvah Mida Keneged Mida. Why Mida Keneged Mida? Because he claimed, what's Mamzer? As opposed to Eved, to be an Eved Knayni is very bad, but it's not forbidden. Nobody did an Avera. It's an Eved Knayni. Mashenkin and Mamzer, you're claiming the people are sinful. His parents are sinful. He's sinful because he's married to a regular girl. And therefore, because you claimed that he did an Avera, you get the punishment, the classical punishment for an over Avera. What's the default punishment for a person who's over Doraisa? Unless no otherwise Malchus. Unless there's only Shmitza, right? The default punishment for, you said he's a Rasha? You said, excuse me, you said he did an Avera, that he committed an Avera, his parents or whatever, you are going to get the same thing. By the way, Rashi says here something interesting, that to get the lashes is not as bad as Nidui. Psychological, psychological pain is worse than physical one. Nidui, the person is really has no chaver, no communication, and he's completely lonely. It's much worse than getting the Malchus. In other words, Rashi believes that to call him an Eved is worse than calling him a Mamzer. That's Shitas Rashi. Next, please, Rasha Yordim Olachayev. Let's say a person calls his friend Rasha, you're a Rasha Merusha. Yeah, then what's the punishment? Beis Din don't deal with it, but because Rasha is a person that everybody hates and nobody wants to be around, Yordim Olachayev. According to most Rishonim, Yordim Olachayev is very surprising. Basically, it means that Beis Din doesn't do anything, but the person who's the victim of being called a Rasha, it's a word in Hebrew also. Yordim Olachayev means he basically can make his life a misery. Says Rashi, he can hate him and mamish stop his business, can hurt his business. He can tell people, don't buy by him. He called me a Rasha, don't go to his shop, don't go to his don't go to her shetelmacher thing or whatever the business is. Yeah, And even Ad Kedei Kach, one of the Rishonim says, and Tosfos and Bava Metzia spoke about it, very, very severe. You can burn a third of his crops. It's a big chiddush. Tosfos says that sounds extreme, but I don't know. Rashi himself in Bava Metzia is a bit skeptical. He says, "How do Chazal allow you to be noikim v'noiter?" It's a question, but many Rishonim say yes. If a person calls him his friend a Rasha, it's so bad. Yes, such Motzi Shemra insult. It's so bad that that person has the right to take the law into his hands within reason, and really, kind of, not help him and even disturb his business life and his financial life. And that's also midah keneged midah, because nobody likes the Rasha, so this way nobody's going to like him either, and they won't enter his shop. So now, but the question is a question, my friends. What's the question? We're looking now for an extreme case, which is crazy, and people would definitely not be mechayiv shvuah. By the way, you won't believe it. I learned this Gemara, and punkt right after I saw this Gemara, I went to the Merkaz Mischari, and I heard a woman calling a man Rasha Merusha. Interesting, the lady, because she wanted tzedakah, and he didn't give her tzedakah, I guess, and she said Rasha Merusha, and she started cursing him and all that. So I'm saying, I'm not going to yered lechayel, but interesting, that very sad that such things happen today. Today we have to be more united. It's a wartime. We shouldn't fight between each other. We have other people to fight against, not us, between ourselves. Hello, what? Business is business, you're saying. Lo aleinu, lo yene business, yene geschäft. Yeah, right. Hello, Marov. So again, we're looking for a case in which shvuah would definitely not apply independently. And yet, if you have another case where shvuah does apply, the shvuah that is in place would roll with it, would bring with it another shvuah. I'm sorry, there's noise. I'm sorry. Ela Omer Rove says Rove as follows: Hishavali shalonim kartuli be'eved ivri. Oh, that's a different claim. Listen, my friend, he comes to Beis Din and he says, "I want you to swear to me that you're not sold to me as an eved ivri." Now, eved ivri is not such a big insult. Eved ivri is a regular Jew, like you, me, and everybody else. Eved Ivri is not physically owned by his master, right? Yeah, he's not owned mamish by the master. Eved Ivri is just a stronger way of a worker that he was paid. Yeah, he himself was paid. Eved Ivri that sold himself, he's worth 6 million. He was paid 6 million. Yeah. In other words, Eved Ivri is a worker with more binding conditions, but he's just a worker. And what does he claim? He claims you were sold to me as Eved Ivri, and you ran away. You're supposed to work for me 3 years, and you ran away after 6 years, and you ran away after 3 years, and I want you back. So that's a good claim. But you cannot make a shvuah on it. The havamina is you can't make a shvuah, but the gilgul you can. Frag the Gemara, why? Why can't you make an independent shvuah? What's an eved ivri? Eved ivri is not a different status. It's just a person who owes you money. If a worker ran away in the middle of a job, let's say 2023, a person was supposed to do a job for you, a painter. A painter was supposed to do a job for you. You signed the contract and everything for, 4,000 shekels. He'll paint your entire house. And he ran away, whatever, stopped after 2,000. You're supposed to come work with me. What are you really asking him for? 2,000 shekels. Either finish the job that is worth 2,000 or pay me 2,000 shekels, which I paid up front, right? The might say it's all money. At the end of the day, work equals money. So the Gemara is asking, what's this all fanfare over here? Why do you say you can't be dishba independently? Yes, you can. If the person claims, I'm not an eved ivri, or let's say, I'm half an eved ivri, instead of 2,000 or 1,000, it's really about money. If it's about money, why can't he be nishba independently? It's not koikois. Melakarka, you can't be nishba. But a person's work translates clearly into cash. I want cash or the worth of the cash. So why does it have to be begilgul? It can be a topic as of itself to be nishba. Answers the Gemara, Rove letaime. Rove follows his own reasoning, which he said, we saw it a few dapim ago. The Omer Rove says, Rove, Eved Ivri gufoi konui. Rove says that an Eved Ivri, his body is owned by the master. Now, this is really, really not pashut. Rove didn't mean that Eved Ivri, the guf, is mamish konui, like an Eved Knaini. Gufoi konui, Rove meant that you have to make a get shichu. An Eved Ivri, you always have to give him a get shichu. Why? Because the Eved Ivri does have a different status for halachically than other people. What's the difference halachically between Eved Ivri and other people besides money? Something that's not to do with money. Very good. He can marry or sort of be miyuchad very quick on the draw with the shifcha knainis. Oh, So Eved Ivri does have a change in status, and in that respect, it's like Gufa Konui, right? And because of that, it's not just money that I'm claiming. I'm claiming you're a different kind of person. I'm claiming you owned by me in the sense that you can also be married to my Shifcha Knainis, and I want you to have children together. It says that, yeah. So therefore, it's not just about money, it's about his body. If so, what's the difference between Eved Ivri and regular Karka? Which means, now, Eved Ivri is not like regular Karka. The Ritva says, who is compared to a piece of land? Which Eved? Knaini. The Eved Knaini is like a piece of land for all intents and purposes. The same kinyan, Shavua, it's all the same. Eved Ivri is not like Karka. But the Gemara's question is, what is the Chiddush? In other words, still, says the Ritva, we're looking here for some extreme, exotic, out of the way, outlandish case. Ad Heichan, to what extent do we go with Gilgul Shua? What's the story? However, whichever way I look at Eved Ivri, Karka, money, whichever way I look at him, he's not even Karka, it's just money. So what's the big Chiddush? Even if you'd look at him like Karka, we already Mechadish, even Eved Knaini. Yeah, if not for the problem of cursing another Jew, let's say you claim another Jew is an Eved Knani. Why is it such a big Chiddush? Avodim are like Karka, and Karka we know from the Mishna. The Mishna said, if I have a money claim now, and I had a Karka claim, which I wasn't able to benish by 5 years ago, I can roll the 5 years ago Karka into the money. So what's the Chiddush? What's so new about this case of an Eved? Now we come to the punchline. Finally, we come to the punchline. Now, here comes the big Chiddush. Why is an Eved bigger Chiddush than Karka or anything else in the world? Now the tema, one would say as follows. Karka hu de avdi inche de bezabni betzin. Karka, as we saw not long ago in Tosfos, some people like to sell the land or the apartment. What's betzina? Quietly. Yeah, you're a businessman, you start liquidating, you don't want people to know, right? Remember? We said that's why a person may tell the Edim, I want you to testify that he has the Karka, I don't want you to testify on a star. No star. I don't want star, right? In other words, I want this. I'm an honest guy. I'm not going to deny it in BSD. I have Adim. I'm a good guy. I have good reputation. Not everything has to be advertised all over the world. I don't want that because then my friends won't do business with me. Yeah. So karka is something people sell quietly. So what? In Isa de Zabin leisle kolo. Even if the person sells a piece of land, again, not always with a star, there is no voice to it. There's no rumor. People don't know about it. Again, and therefore what? Before we continue, what's the story over here? Let's summarize now. We have a case here of a person who's coming with BSD with a good claim about money. 5 years ago, there was a claim about a piece of land, which he claims this and that and the other. There was no shavua. Now, a piece of land, you know why it makes sense, even if it's a kind of shema. Maybe you bought my land and you didn't pay, something like that, yeah? Why a maybe by a karka Bezdin would listen to? Because karkos could be a maybe. By karka, you can't say, how can you say that he stole the karka, that he bought the karka, didn't pay? Nobody heard about the karka being sold? The answer is yes, nobody heard. Sometimes people sell the land or property quietly, and therefore to say that I'm a galgel, a claim on karka, and this is the first time we're hearing it, yeah, it's shaykh. It's shaykh that it's the first time he hears. He sold his house. He's running away. He's moving to Eretz Yisrael. He doesn't want anybody else to know. Yeah, something like that. Hi, but the case of the Eved, no. The case of an Eved, Ivri, im Isa de Zabin, Kala Islay. The case of an Eved Ivri, if a person comes and claims, you are my Eved Ivri, one would say, Eved Ivri, there's kol. When an Eved Ivri is being sold, whoa, the whole world knows about it. An Eved, he moves the house. He moves away from his family. He marries a Shifcha Kanainis. You don't have to be the biggest Yachne Yente in town to know that the guy was up until yesterday was in Kollel or was in I don't know what in programming. He changed his job to Eved Ivri. That's quite a change of job. Like people know about that, right? Yeah. So therefore, I would say, what? You're not coming to Beis Din claiming a new claim. You're claiming one thing, Beseder. You want to be Megalga? The what? That this guy is your Eved Ivri? How come we never heard about it? So therefore, maybe that far we don't go. That's why it's a far-fetched case. That's why it's so outlandish, so out of the way, so crazy. Because you're telling me an Eved Ivri, that's the new tiny you want to roll in? The Eved Ivri, when it says that, I would never heard about that. Let's disregard it, say the Dayonim. Ta-ta-ra, ta-ta-ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-mashmalan, KML. Kamashmalan what? Kamashmalan that we do Gilgul Shvua, nothing to do with karka or money. The point is we do Gilgul Shvua, although even on cases which should have been famous, should have been known, and the person is a Shema, the whole thing sounds very shoddy, and we don't like to stand be Michai a person Shvua. Shvua, is like a Shvua we treat very carefully. The dosage of Shvua should be measured very, very carefully. So maybe Shvua, you don't make the other person Benishba on such a crazy idea of Eved Ivri, because how come we never heard about it? It's usually well known. Kamash Malandit, yes. Ad Heichan, now you know the question was, Ad Heichan Megir Gilgul Shvua. Even if the taina sounds like a taina, which seems funny, well, it's a taina. Lamaisa the taina logically, yes, you know what? This Eved Ivri kept it quietly. Could be. This Eved Ivri somehow managed to hide it. Yeah, somebody told me when I used to voluntarily teach in jail. I used to teach in jail. When I was in jail, so it's not good. When I was in jail once a week for an hour teaching the people over there, just to make it clear. So somebody told me that he has a friend who's not a friend, one of his talmidim in the Torani, in the Frum department of jail. It's all Frum department, yeah. So ward. So he's in jail, and he managed that some people don't know about it. So he managed to, because he sometimes gets time off, and not everybody knows he's in jail. I don't know, maybe his family told stories in Chutzlaretz, I don't know, they told people. And he went to a chasana wearing a long frock, a long something, and he had chains under his, and by his feet, and nobody knew. He schmoozed the guy at the wedding, and he has chains, he has the shackles, and you don't even know. Which means, yeah, sometimes people keep things quiet, lo aleinu, and therefore that's the case over here. Yes, the Eved Ivri people didn't know, and I claim he's my Eved Ivri. And since Gilgul Shvua works, it works also to the claim of Eved Ivri. Ad kan. Questions or comments are welcome at this happy note. We're starting a new Mishnah. Imertz Hashem, in 2 days' time, or maybe even tomorrow, we're going to start learning the very interesting topics of mitzvah sese of women and men, mitzvah sese shazvan bromo, chinuch of children, all kinds of things. Green light to continue or questions? Commercial time, yeah. I just want to summarize. According to the summarize before we continue. Thank you for the question. According to the Ritva, all combinations work. Vade, sofik for sure. Also sofik, vade, sofik, which means either the current taina or the old returning taina, either vade or sofik, Gilgul does it all. That's the title. Gilgul does it all. That's exactly the Chiddush here. Plus, even if one of the taina was so nutty, was so even Eved Ivri, nobody heard of the guy being an Eved Ivri, are you coming out of the blue? That of itself would not be a taina. But let's say the Gilgul, it does work. Yes, you can bring that in as a second taina and be nishba that he's not an Eved Ivri. Yes, we take it to that extent. One interesting point is, because Eved Ivri is mentioned here, says the Ritva something very interesting. The Ritva claims, and that seems to be a huge issue in the Rishonim and Achronim, does Eved Ivri apply today? Can a person sell himself as an Eved Ivri 2023 and 24? Yeah, so the question is like this. The Gemara does say that, I remember, the Gemara says in Daf Samech, in Daf before, in Daf Samech Tes, the Gemara says nowadays there's no Eved Ivri. Says the Ritva, there is Eved Ivri. Why? Because he says that it sounds from this Gemara that this applies la halacha. It's not Hilchas al Meshicha, it's halacha today, in the times of the Gemara, when Beis Mikdash was not around, there's no Yovel, and yet Eved Ivri should apply. So what does it mean Eved Ivri doesn't apply? He says you can sell yourself to Eved Ivri with certain halachas that you're committed to be there for X amount of time, and you are more committed than the regular worker may be, but the details of Eved Ivri don't apply. No shifcha knainis, yeah, problem no ritzia, all these pitchevkas of Eved Ivri, like the knainis and those things don't apply. But some, I don't know which yes, which not, maybe anektanik does apply. I don't know, he doesn't go into it, but the Ritva wants to say that Eved Ivri conceptually applies. Don't ask me much about it. I didn't go down that lane because we have much more to go today. But according to the Ritva, Eved Ivri conceptually applies, and you can sell yourself as an Eved Ivri. I don't have enough money to buy one. Yeah, it could be very useful, but I don't think I'm. Yeah, it's my birthday this Shabbos. Maybe you can buy me an Eved Ivri. I don't know, no, but I can do without. Yeah, I can do without it. Yeah. Says, do you have to use the word Gilgal? I don't think so. Do you have to say in Beis Areni Megal Gil Shvuah? Don't think so. Maybe. Don't know. I don't think. I think it's automatic. You know there's a time. I think so. I don't think you have to say Gilgal, but kinyan you have to make it clear because otherwise kinyan only works with clarifying. Says the Mishnah. Maybe I don't know. Zog the Mishnah. Before we continue to the next Mishnah, let's refresh our memories from Bov Metzia, the beginning of Azov, Daf Mem Dalet, Mem Hey, Mem Vov, Mem Zayin. All those dapim over there, all going to come to life again from a few months ago. So, what's kinyan chalifin? Tell me, please. What's a good way to do kinyan chalifin? Yeah, I want to buy your field, and right now I don't have money. Money is besides that. I paid you. I will pay you. Money is besides the point. Now I want to make a kinyan chalifin to buy your beautiful field in Netanya. Very good. So Ellen is showing me a handkerchief. Yeah, you take a handkerchief, or you can take anything that is a kli. Yeah. Oh, we have a chat over here. Yeah. No, that's not Eved Ivri. No. Shifcha Knanis is used to erase Mamzer. It's not Eved Ivri. I'm sorry. No. B'mchila Kvoidoi, Shifcha Knanis applies and Eved Knani applies today 100%. Yeah, the rabbi is showing me here, Oro, Eved Ivri and Shifcha Knanis are used to erase Mamzerus. That's true about Shifcha Knanis. Shifcha Knanis applies today, and Eved Knani for sure applies today. It's a whole Siman of Shulchan Aruch, which I discovered recently, I admit. And Eved Ivri is a much bigger, it's a much harder story. It's not a Pashto Maaseh Bechlal. That's a Ritzvah Machlokas. Eved Knani applies, Shifcha Knani applies, and that's a way to purify Mamzer, not the issue right now. And Eved Ivri is a different story. Because the pashtus of the Gemara Daf Samech Tes is there is no Eved Ivri today. Let's continue now into the inyan of kinyan chalifin. So kinyan chalifin, where do you know kinyan chalifin from? In the Bible? In Ruth, in the book of Ruth. Are you familiar with the book of Ruth? Yeah, you read it in the holiday of Shavuos. So in Sefer Ruth it says, how did Boaz buy the field? He shalach ishnaloi. Yeah, the minhag was to take off your shoe. The shoe is not worth as much as the field, but it's symbolically, it shows if I gave you machloikes, if that's be my shoe or your shoe, let's say I'm the buyer. Yeah, the halacha is a krav, kelev shel koine. I give you my shoe, and then I buy the field, because symbolically it shows, we both agree that exchange action of exchange showed that it's okay, that now the shoe is yours and the field is mine. You can even give me back the shoe. That's a minhag today, right? You take the pen, the handkerchief from the Rav in the Tnoim of your daughter's wedding or the Mechiras Chometz. It's just a symbolic thing. Now, another way to refresh our memories. Did the Gemara in Bov Metzia tell us that, let's say the item is a kli, it's an item, a kli, a vessel, a utensil. Can it be useful but less than shova pruta and still works, even though it's worth nothing, less than shova pruta? Yes, that's a huge difference between kinyan kesef and kinyan chalifin. Kinyan chalifin is about the facts of Shulchan Aruch that you can use it. It's a usable, defined item. We're going to see now that fruit is a question. It's a machloikas there in Bov Metzia. Fruit is not as important as kalim because they're perishable food. Something which is kli, which is meant to last for a long time, unless it's made in China, yeah. But something made out of China as a kli, supposed to serve you for a certain amount of time. It's a set defined item, and that's what the Torah views as something important enough that if I give that, then the other item is mine automatically. That's begadol, generally chalifin. Now, another question which we had, all this is good introduction, will make the Mishnah much easier for you. Yeah, there was an item, and they had a chat with it on the Zoom with you, Shlomo. What happens if you want to use money as chalifin? In other words, I can use a shoe for chalifin. Can I use money not as its value? Can I use a coin or dollar bill as the item which I'm using to buy the field? I'm not paying $1 as the first payment of the field. That's kinyan kesef. I'm just giving you my dollar as a symbolic item instead of a shoe or a cup or glasses. I'm giving you a dollar bill or a shekel, 10 shekel coin. Does it work? Machloikes. The machloikes there in Bov Metzia. Yeah, machloikes there. Okay, which we'll see later on. Now, another question is, okay, enough. Now, there's more, but that's enough of the introduction. Says the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah like this. Kol anasa domim be'acher, whatever becomes money for another item, according to the Havamina, we think that this means a coin, money. Anything that can become valuable, like money, for acher, for something else, in other words, money. Anything that can give it as money is money. Oh, it sounds like once money was given as chalipin item, yeah, as I just told you, it does work. Nischayev ze b'chalipav means the other person is obligated to give me the field. I gave you a coin instead of a shoe, instead of a kerchief, which is traditionally given, or a pen. I don't have a pen. I don't have a shoe. Right? I don't want to take off my shoe now in the middle of the hall. So what do? I give you 10 shekels coin. Maybe that's good. Says Mishna, yes. What does it mean? Nischayev ze b'chalipav. The other side, the owner of the field or the owner of the item that's being bought, is now mechuyev to give it to me. It's a point of no return, and he's chayev ba'oinsin. He's chayev to provide it to me. Ketzad, how does that work? How does it work that money can be used as chalipin? And by the way, can money buy metaltalin otherwise? Can money buy metaltalin or kinyan kesef? No way, Jose. No, so many times. Money is not going to metaltalin. No, we're too brainwashed by the Western world. Lo aleinu. Yeah, meikar adin. No. Yeah, if you give money for a yogurt and the yogurt, I want to buy your, I don't know, yogurt. Yeah, and I give you 5 shekels. The yogurt is not mine. No, it's not a done deal. Machlokes why? But it's not. Only kinyan meshicha, gbo, mesira. Oh, here the Mishnah is telling me, although money cannot buy you metaltalin, but money can be the chalipin item, when not used as money. When used as just an item, then it's no worse than a shoe or glasses or a kerchief. Ketzad, how is that? Ketzad, how is that actualized? Look at the case. Hechlif shor beporo. One exchanged a bull for a cow. Or chamor b'shor. Yeah. One side. Now this is not symbolic. This is another kind of chalipin. What kind of chalipin? When I really exchange items. I exchange your cow for my bull. Yeah, I don't need this bull. It's only menageach all the time. It's crazy. I'm giving you the bull and I want the cow to milk. Yeah. So even though one side made the exchange and the other one didn't, you exchanged a donkey for a bull. Once one person got one item, the other item, yeah, I gave you my bull, and the bull is by you, and the cow is not yet by me. The cow that's by you is already mine. The obvious question is, we just spoke about money, and then the example was not money, was items. That's going to be the Gemara's question, yeah? There's some kind of discrepancy here in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, chalipin ma'niu. What does chalipin mean? Meaning the chalipin of the first part of the Mishnah, matbea. It's matbea, right? What's nasa domim be'acher? Anything that can be used as money. What can be used as money? Money. Matbea, the coin. Shma mina, the chiddush is matbea nasa chalipin. Oh, so you see here a chiddush. Matbea nasa chalipin. What does it mean? Matbea is as good as a shoe, or as good as a kerchief, as good as a pen, as an item. Matbea can be the item that's symbolically used to become chalipin. Why is that a problem? Well, first of all, because I told you otherwise. I'm joking. That's because I told you otherwise. It's a machloikis in Bov Metzia. It's a big machloikis Bov Metzia over there. Yeah, the daf is not mem dalit, it's mem Amud beis. The kids are, it's a machloikis over there. Memvov Amud aleph. Yeah. There is a machloikas, first of all, before we go into Rashi, yeah? Remember what I explained to you a few days ago? Why are there people who believe, and they are the halacha, that matbea cannot be a chalipin? Let me ask you a question. The 10 shekels coin that you have, as valuable as it is, let's say you have a bigger coin, I don't know, yeah? Is it a kli or isn't it a kli? Do you keep that coin to use it, or for the value, the monetary value that the Bank of Israel decided? Obviously, for the value of Bank of Israel. It doesn't have value as an item. It has value because it represents 10 shekels. It represents a falafel meal. It represents a pair of socks, cheap ones, yeah? In the way that the Gemara gave a much, much better example than me, and I forgot that, the Gemara says, I'll prove it to you very clearly. What can you buy today with a German mark or with a Dutch gulden? Nothing, zero. Because the Europeans are more in touch with what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know you travel a lot. These matbeos, zichronim livracha, they died over 20 years ago. Now there's euro. Before it, you can give it. He can come today. A very old guy. He can come today with 1 million marks. German marks to buy something in Germany. They'll tell you, Dankeschön, bitteschön, go to where. Yeah, I'm saying Markesha, right? You can't do it. Swiss franc, right? Franc. So then. I meant French. So then, in other words, a matbeh is only worth anything as long as the government decided that it's worth. So Shenkin a shoe from 25 years ago, if it's well kept, not so much in fashion, but better it's a shoe. I kept it very well, 25 years, why not? Yeah. In other words, something that's an item is used for its purpose. And matbeh is not. Matbeh is not a kli. I can use it to wedge, but that's not the main purpose of it. It's now we keep it in your pocket, right? And therefore, there is an opinion, which is the halacha, that matbeh cannot become the chalifin because it's not similar to the original case of the Torah of Boaz buying with the shoe. So, and here you're telling me in the Mishnah, not like that. Boom, boom, boom. The Mishnah doesn't seem to be in line with what it says in Bav Metzia. Answers the Gemara, Omar of Yehuda, we quickly regret, we quickly change pshat. This is really what the Mishnah meant. You mistranslated kol anasa domim ba'acher. It means to say kol hanishom nishom domim be'acher nishom kevan d'shazoch hazen is chayav zeh b'chlipin. What does nishom mean? Nishom means to evaluate. Do you have to evaluate 10 shekels? Let's forget about dollars. 10 shekels are 10 shekels. You have to evaluate a falafel meal. How much do you think it's worth? Meaning, we're not talking here about the money. The title of the Mishnah actually talks about non-money. It talks about anything that is evaluated against money, which means any item. Now that's a chiddush, either kli or a non-kli. Give an example for something. I helped you before. Give an example for something that's not a kli, like a shoe, but it's not money and it's metaltalin. And the winner will get what? First, the first one. Yaakov, quick on the draw, and email to your wife. Yeah. Food, marvelous food. Food, wonderful food. Yeah. In other words, food is not a kli. You don't keep it for life, yeah, unless you're a real hoarder. A food is something you eat, right? And it's not a kli, and it's not money. Comes the Mishnah to broaden my horizons and tell me that food, which by the way is a machloikis in Bav Metzia, as we're going to see, yeah, in Daf Memzayin, I think, that anything that's worth money, either kalim or non-kalim, any kind of metaltalin, including yellow cheese, tomatoes go bad quite, fast. Yeah, even they, as long as they're good, they can be used as metaltalin, as chalifin, as a chalifin item. Okay, very good. Daikanami, I'll prove to you my point. Haha, the Ktani, look at the end of the Mishnah. Now it reads very nicely. Keitzad, how does the Rasha come to life in the Seifa? Very good, very good. In other words, we're talking here about shor and poro. Shor and poro, yeah, as we're going to see later, shor and poro are animals. Animals are not necessarily kalim. An animal is not a kli. You can argue, and there is an argument, the shor and chamor can be used like kalim, but an animal is not a kli. You give a guy a parrot, it's not a kli. Kind of item, it wasn't produced by people, right? Not exactly food, it's potential food. We're going to talk about it soon in the Gemara, but let's pause for a second and see. It's a perfect Mishnah. Very nice. In other words, so far so good. Right now, we're in an amazing place in the Mishnah. The Mishnah spoke about one thing only. The Mishnah told me very, very nicely, not only kalim can be used as chalifin items, like nalaim or things like that. Also, let's broaden the horizons a bit. Also, things that are non-kalim, shor, chamor. Chamor is not food. Who's going to eat chamor? Yeah. Chamor, shor, para, and also yellow cheese and or separately hamburger. They can all be what items that's choshev enough and similar enough to kli. It does have its own value, right? It's not like money. I use it to eat. I use it for its own purpose. It's a good thing to use as chalifin item. Very nice. And the Mishnah reads very nicely. Both Rasha and Seifa spoke about what? Food or other items that are not kalim. Flag the Gemara, I won't let you go. As we know, as Moan Chazonish told us, when we see this now in the Gemara has a Havamina. The Havamina of the Gemara is not some Chas v'Sholom, a silly idea that came to mind that the Gemara wants to just share with everybody. The Gemara is not the internet, social media. The Gemara, every word of the Gemara is thought out. And therefore the Gemara is going back on the Havamina, and the Gemara is like kind of upset and wants to understand, what was your Havamina? Like, let's go back one move in the Gemara and explore what were you thinking. Let me see this inside now. Let us see it inside. according to what we thought of originally before the current understanding, the matbea nase chalipin. In the Havamina, what did we want to say? That the Rasha spoke about matbea, a coin of 10 shekels, of, I don't know, a dime, a quarter, I don't know, yeah, a penny, yeah, that can become chalipin, can actually be the item you use for chalipin. According to that original thought, my ketzad, how on earth did you read the Mishnah? The Rasha and the Sefer of the Mishnah, they really don't match at all. Because the Rasha spoke about a coin, and then he says, ketzad, how is that? You exchange a cow for a donkey. Last time I checked, the cow and a donkey are not coins. Yeah? Well, what are you talking about, right? In Gibraltar, there's a monkey on the coin, but it's not the coin, right? In other words, yeah, the animal is not a coin, coin is not an animal. So what's ketzad? Answers the Gemara, Hachikomer. Yes, I had a good, even in the Havamina, I had a workable reading of the Mishnah. That's what it says. Hey, Hachikomer, Heros, Nami, what's Nami? Also, Avdi Chalipin. Oh, in other words, the Rasha spoke about coins, yeah? They want to broaden, and it's like a bit of a Chisur Mechsara. We add another item called Peros. Peros also can create Chalipin. How are animals Peros? Ketzad? Ichlif Besar Shor Beporo, or Besar Chamor Yak. Beshor, Kevin Shazor Chazen is Chai Bechalipin. Wow, which means, as I told you before, Shor and Chamor and Poro, when they're alive, they're not exactly Kalim, but maybe, says Rashi, they're closer to Kalim. It's Damilikli, says Rashi. It's like a kli because you use it. Shor and Chamor are working animals. They're beasts of in the field, and they work hard. Yeah, in this week's parsha, right? Yisachar Chamor Gorim. Why is Yaakov calling his son the Chamor? Because he had the power to learn Torah. He was resilient. Basically, the Mishnah is telling me as follows. Mishnah is telling me two things. First of all, coins can work for chalipin. Other things, such as animals, work for chalipin. Not even animals, even dead animals in the freezer. The veal's meat, even basar of chamor. I guess to sell it to who? Only Palestinians would eat basar chamor. I think, motza minas minoi. Maybe no. I believe anything about them. Yeah. In other words, what? Yeah, from the Far East, maybe. So lemaisa, yeah, a basar. You sell kosher or non-kosher meat as chalipin with whoever you do the business with, and that is good enough. And that's peros. That's how ketzad survived. The Rasha spoke about matbeya and other items such as fruit, and then the Sefer spoke about fruit. Fruit is not only peros and halacha, as we know, not only fruit and vegetables. It also means food. Well, meat is food. Kosher lemehadrin veal, shor, basar shor is food. Chamor is good food for Thai people. Oh, so the Mishnah is again good. Now, whichever way read the Mishnah, but one thing we know the Maskana clearly. The Mishnah expanded the horizons of Maskana. Kalim for sure can be the chalipin item. What else? Money can also be, right? Although according to the Maskana, it's not. Yeah, the Maskana it's not the Havamina. Yes, both Hava and Maskana agree that shor and chamor, even as fruit, they can be metaltalin, right? They can be chalipin. Everyone, both Rasha and Seifa, the only difference between the Hava and Maskana is about money. If money, a coin can be used as chalipin. But everyone agrees from beginning till end that, as it says in the Mishnah, fruit, or things similar to fruits, a shor chamor, dead or alive, they can be chalipin item even though they're not kalim. That's all. That's for sure. Yes. Shor and chamor either means I give you a live shor, and that is a chalipin item, or I give you a frozen piece of shor with a bedat stempel on it, kosher mehadrin. You can use it. It's called a steak in English, and a steak, a piece of steak. That's very nice. I can use it as a chalipin item, and maybe even take it back. All is good. That's very nice, and that is what Mishnah is telling me. 1 second, because we're a little bit short of time. Practice Gemara. I'll listen to you soon. So, very nice. But hanicha. Oh, it's a machlokes. As I told you, it's a machlokes. A machlokes there in Daf Zayin. Lov Metzia. L'Rav Sheshes the Omer Peros Avdi Chalipin. Beautiful. According to Rav Sheshes, who believes that peros can be used as the chalipin item, Givaldig, Rav Sheshes is so happy with the Mishnah. Rav Nachman the Omer Peros loy avdi chalipin Michael Amema. According to Rav Nachman, it says that peros cannot be used as chalipin because he believes that he's more conservative. He believes only kalim can be used as chalifin. They're more choshuv, the more set, and more similar to the na'al mentioned in Megillas Rus. Pears, they're not as choshuv, can be fancy food, but it's perishable, you eat quickly. Some halachos of Shabbos don't apply to food, like tzovea, because they're not as stable, they're not as stationary. So maybe food is not the same. So Rav Nachman, excuse me, if you're telling me that a Mishnah said that pears can be used as chalifin, Rav Nachman, who's an Amira, is in trouble deep. Question time. Before we get to the answer, yes, I'm listening. No question because it was answered. You didn't have a question. I'm sorry. No, it was you. Okay. I will not continue now. It's time, but I do want to summarize. It's not a hard sugya. We just have to get again. Let's just zone in again. Let's focus again. According to what we're saying now, money is not chalifin. Money cannot be given as an exchange item symbolically against something that's in the hands of the moicher, which I want to buy. However, food can be. Food, in other words, when the Mishnah said at the beginning, kol anasa domi ba'acher, the Mishnah says, kol anasa domi ba'acher. Shoes, socks, and fruit and vegetables. And the flesh, the meat of a kosher, meat of a non-kosher animal, it's mutar ba'ano. Basar chamor, you can own it and sell it to a Vietnamese. So anything that is even food can be used as the item which I'm giving you symbolically in order to get what you have in your hands. Oh, it's such a nice Mishnah. It all reads very nice and smooth. Everyone's happy except for one person. His name is Rav Nachman. Because Rav Nachman said, "There's lo yavdi chalifin." So then the Mishnah just doesn't work according to him. That's all. It's that simple. So we're going to see how Rav Nachman gets out of trouble tomorrow at 9:25. Thank you to everybody who watches us from YouTube and the Heilige Torah anytime. And to everybody here in the room, we should have a good week full of peace. Hatzlacha, bracha to Gans Klal Yisrael. Thank you very much. And a good day.